wrong show. I'm sorry. That's another show. Sorry.
I'm guessing that worked. Welcome everyone. Teams Fridays. Michael is not with us, who's the usual producer. He's delegated that task to me, so I'm currently learning the controls. So I think that worked. But my Surface Studio, for some reason, does not like what we're doing. Videos and things freeze, and I don't know what was going on then. But
Oh wow.
Here we are. Well, welcome. Hey Michelle, and
Good to
our
see you
special
again.
guest Nate. How's it going?
Yeah. Hey, Martin. Hey, Michelle. Glad to be here. Appreciate the opportunity to talk today and get some conversation going around teams and teams meeting rooms.
Good stuff. What a week, right, Martin, with the boot camp? I still think that I don't have answered every reply to every selfie that was on my timeline this week. So for those that missed it, we did a Teams Rooms 4-hour boot camp on Wednesday, I think Wednesday. So 4 hours. It was Martin, Jimmy Vaughn, who might be joining in a bit, myself, Tracy Herr, Kim Matlock, Matt Slomka, and we talked about deployment of Teams Rooms. We spoke Intune and conditional access and the Pro Portal. And so we went live, and then 2 seconds before we go live, Jimmy and I are like, would be fun if people would post selfies. Nothing prepared. So we start the session, and like 2 minutes in, I start saying, so if you're watching the boot camp, make sure you pull out your phone and start taking a selfie, and post it on LinkedIn, and make sure you tag all of us. I think I've seen at least 100 selfies.
Yeah, every day since Wednesday, I answered a lot when we were doing it. Thursday, I found some this morning. They just keep coming and finding, and I'm trying to. Everyone I've seen, I have responded to, but more keep finding their way around LinkedIn. So, but how cool is that? I did pull together all the kind of pictures of some of the selfies and things, and yeah, thank you so much to everyone who did that. There was some cool selfies as well, like one chap
people at the beach. There was a partner at somewhere in the Nordics. I think was it Denmark, Sweden, something, and they did a boot camp in beef. So they posted a picture of them sitting in a restaurant eating beef, and then in the background you could see. I'll try to find it. You could see us speaking during the boot camp. It was kind of wild, but I love it when people do those things. When I do, what you often see is that I'm trying to talk and scroll at the same time. And what you often see is that when there are big conferences like Ignite or Inspire for Partners or Build, which is coming up. If you haven't signed up, you should, because there's a lot of great stuff there. People do watch parties. But I never thought that people would do a watch party for Teams Rooms Bootcamp. And that has happened quite a lot. I saw many pictures. Here's the one. It's the partner name is Sec Datacom in Denmark.
Oh, I did see that picture. Yeah, I thought that could be the beef because that's extraction hood, isn't it?
Looks like a hibachi grill where they grill the food right in front of you.
But it's great to see this kind of stuff. It's
great to see people joining together as well and doing a central watching thing. But yeah, I saw Marin had a picture with her dog. There was some great selfies and people watching it.
The gentleman watching it from the beach. There was a lot of good selfies there. So thanks everyone for posting their selfies. We should have the slides and recordings in a couple of weeks to share with you all. Did you guys read the new work trend index?
No.
Oh, you all look surprised. So there's a new. So we have the work trend index, which is a big research that we do, and we just posted the annual report for 2023, and it speaks about AI, and it covers 3 things. One is digital debt, which is causing all of us a lack of innovation. AI employee alliance. And then the fact that every employee needs AI amplitude. And what I thought was interesting is that the top 5 obstacles for productivity. Can you guess what they are?
Top 5 obstacles
for productivity.
Information overload.
Okay.
Too many meetings.
That's on there. That's number 3. Not easily finding information you need is number 5.
Oh.
So 5 is not easily finding information. 4 is feeling uninspired. 3 is having too many meetings. 2 is the lack of clear goals, and then
Yeah.
1 is inefficient meetings.
People having meetings for meetings.
Meetings on top of meetings. So there's a lot. It's a good report. It's if you go to Microsoft.com/work lab. I'll post it here.
Yeah.
You
Have they
can.
released a podcast about that work trend index yet? I know they have the Modern Work Lab podcast.
I haven't seen it for this one yet. Let me check real quick. I think I have it here. Not yet, but I'm sure that'll be up as well. It's another great read.
Yeah, they usually talk about it on the podcast. It's kind of a great way to get a summary.
Yep.
So
Yep. So
let's see.
yeah, go check that out. I'll post it in the chat right now.
Yeah, I don't see anything yet, but I'm sure it'll be coming soon.
Mo's added, hey Mo, great to have you with us. AI is the next new thing. Interesting though, people worried about losing their roles to AI.
Yeah, well, I think it's people need to start catching up, right? But I think the learning curve is, and then we'll talk about rooms, but it's a lot less steep. I think the 3 of us here in our generation and the generation before us, everybody kind of had to learn how to use Excel and how to use PowerPoint and Word and Outlook, and then Teams and rooms. But now tools kind of work in a natural way, all through prompting and natural language. So I haven't seen any emails in the last 2 to 3 days because of the boot camp. So I was just going through my inbox. There's an email thread with like 15 emails. And I simply click get a summary of the conversation, which is the Copilot in Outlook. And it summarizes what the 10 threads are about. And I'm up to speed immediately. So instead of it taking me 5, 6, 7 minutes to get up to speed, it's done. And like I just clicked it again, it's 5 seconds and it's right there. So it's such a productivity booster, right? And I think we can spend a lot more time on the things that really matter. I don't think if we look at our job descriptions, I don't think answering email is part of our job, right? It's part of our KPIs. So if we can get that out of the way as soon as we can, and we can focus on the things that are super important, I think that is going to be the big game changer.
Yeah, I sent a deck to somebody internally, and I sent them the presentation about the pilots we're building in PowerPoint. Literally typed, summarize this presentation, and he got 5 bullets done, and he digested the whole presentation in, seconds.
Yeah.
It was mad. And he was like, whoa, I'm blown away. I literally just asked Copilot, summarize. And he was like, and I know everything. And I haven't even looked at the rest of the slides.
Yeah.
It's just changing how we access and digest information, right? Like I'm Gen X. So I remember when I was in grade school, we had to learn how to use the decimal system at the library to go through the card files to find, your books, and that's how you found information. And then, the internet came along and we suddenly had access to, information everywhere. And, that's been here for a couple of decades. And now, AI and Copilot, it's, we just have to reshape how we think about accessing and digesting information, because it's just a whole new way of accessing that. And then the data set too, like I think of scenarios in the professional community, like the medical or scientific community, where you have a body of knowledge like scientific journals, and think about, trying to, read, multiple scientific journals on any particular topic with Copilot. If you have that as a data set, you can get a quick summary and catch up very quickly on, professional literature and journals. So I'm really excited about it.
And I like how the user always stays in control. And so it's not an autopilot, it's a Copilot. So if like with the summary I just got here on the screen, it has citations. So I can just click on the citation and it will bring me to that point, and I can make changes. And same with the thing you were saying, Martin, about PowerPoint. It's also the other way around. So you can say, okay, so based on the meeting notes from the meeting this morning that we had about Teams Friday, create a PowerPoint deck with 3 slides. with all the learnings, and it'll give you 3 PowerPoint slides with all the learnings, including the speaker notes, which is insane in itself. But then if there's stuff in there that you don't like or you think is incorrect, you can always change it. So you are in total control. So that's something that I think I like about it the most.
Mm.
Well, transitioning away from business uses of Copilot, I thought we'd have a little fun today. And Michael's not here, so I think Martin gets to get the brunt of this. But what I've done is, if the audience is familiar with Mad Libs, Mad Lib was a game we played as a kid where you ask for nouns and verbs and adjectives, and you have this sort of funny paragraph. So what I've done is I've had Bing AI create a short paragraph on the topic of installing Teams meeting rooms, Martin. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you for a few nouns, verbs, and adjectives, since you're well known for authoring, a lot of the training and partner content. We're going to see what Bing AI in this Mad Lib comes up with, and have a little fun before we get into some more serious material. Okay, so are you ready? And Michelle, if you've got time, you can participate as well.
No, I'm just enjoying how you're just hijacking our show as a guest, which is something that I would typically do as well. So go ahead.
Yeah. 5 minutes, and then we get back to serious business. Okay,
it should be fun.
So Martin, and feel free to jump in, Michelle.
Mhm.
So an adjective, a word that describes something.
A word that describes something.
So like tall, short, soft, sharp, like those kind of things.
Come on, Martin, you got this. It's quite easy.
Furry.
Furry.
Blurry.
Furry.
Furry,
Like
okay.
a cat.
Furry. Okay. All right. Now we need a noun.
So a place or an object.
Thing.
Monster.
Monster. Okay. Nice one. Okay. Plural noun.
You might tell me about plural noun. I don't know that one.
Plural, like multiple things.
Multiple.
Is there? I'm the non-native here, but you sure you're good, Martin? Is there
such
a big difference between? Is it the accent?
Very on. Plural noun.
Plural nouns. Yeah. So tables.
There you go.
Yeah. Hey.
Okay.
The Dutch guy.
And now we need.
That's why you
now, three more nouns.
Shit. Pen, computer, window.
What was the first one?
Pen.
Oh, pen.
Computer.
No, pen with an E. Computer. And one last one.
Window.
Computer. Window. Yeah, that's what I have.
Okay. Okay, got it. A verb ending in ing.
ing.
Oh, you got this, Martin. But we'll do painting.
Painting. Okay.
Oh.
I know Martin is binging. So what's a verb? What's a noun?
That's what I'm doing.
Right.
I just did verb, ing at the end.
Yeah, we're about halfway there. I promise it'll be worth it in the end. So adjective.
Come on, Martin, you got this.
Something that describes something, is that right? I'm learning as I go along.
Yes.
Short.
Short. Okay. And then three more nouns.
Car.
Yes. Banana.
Oh.
Banana. All right. One more.
Dog.
Okay. Now we need a verb.
Just any verb. Dance.
What?
Say again.
Dance.
Dance.
Yeah. No, dance, not dance. Dance.
Okay. Now a noun and a verb.
A noun and a verb.
I'll do the noun because I can get them there. Okay. For
Then
me.
the
Cat.
verb is
Cat.
And then
Okay,
I'll
and
take think.
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 Okay. Now we need two nouns.
Plane.
Okay.
Tree.
Three. Verb. Only two more after this.
Jump.
Okay. Adjective.
Fat.
Fat. Like it. Last one, verb ending in ing.
Do we have dancing already? Have you had dancing?
Swimming.
Swimming, yes.
Swimming. Okay. All right. So this is so we've got our
Martin. Now you repeat all of them.
I'm gonna send this to Martin in the in a Teams chat here. So and then Martin, this is going to be similar to a lot of the material that Microsoft has released, except we're using Bing AI to help us have a little fun with it. So over to you, Martin, if you wouldn't mind reading our paragraph on installing Teams meeting rooms. You got that?
Yeah. Okay. Installing Teams rooms is a furry way to transform your meeting spaces into monster-enabled collaboration hubs. To install Teams rooms, you need a few tables, such as a pen, a computer, and a window. You also need a Microsoft 365 or Office 365 noun that has Teams painting. Once you have everything ready, follow these short steps. Connect the Teams Rooms device to the car, the banana, and the dog. Turn on the device and wait for it to dance. On the welcome screen, select your cat and think. Sign in with your Teams Room account and enter the plane. Choose a name for your device and a tree for your meeting room. Review the settings and jump to finish the setup. Congratulations, you have successfully installed Teams Rooms. Now you can enjoy fat meetings with your colleagues and customers. Happy swimming.
Wow. So when Tressler said, "Hey, Michel, can you jump on Teams Fridays because Nate is going to be on there," and Nate has a bunch of experience of handling large scale team rooms deployment, and he's trained thousands and thousands of users. I wasn't expecting this, to be honest with you.
Expect the unexpected with me,
Yeah.
I suppose.
I think we skipped the introduction there, Nate. Maybe you want to explain to the audience who you are, what you do. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. So I'm currently a voice solutions architect with a partner, AVI SPL. That's fairly recent, though. Before that, I was with two large global enterprise companies, working on voice, video, Teams meeting rooms, and primarily had experience early in the pandemic rolling out somewhere between 1,000 and 1,200 meeting rooms. So probably not the largest deployment ever, but the unique thing about it was it wasn't a single campus, right, in one location. It was I think 183 offices, so in every major city, pretty much globally. So there was just a lot of effort and logistics that went along with it. So learned a lot about sort of coordination, project management. There's a lot of different elements to coordinate. So thought it might be a good topic to discuss today with because as partners work with customers, and sometimes they getting the logistical process worked out about who does what and the timing of things. It's a different topic than just the technical side of setting up and configuring Teams meeting rooms. So that's kind of why I think Michael asked me to join today and have a little bit of experience to share. And I joke around because now I'm primarily focused on Teams Phone, even though my background is with meeting rooms, and I work for one of the largest AV companies in the world. But I don't do AV at all anymore. It's all just Teams Phone. So learn something new.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Phone and rooms go quite well together as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So tell us. So I think what people often underestimate is how difficult the organization no part will be, because I mean, installing a Teams room is going to get easier and easier. Right? I was at an event the other day, and I will not mention the OEM because then the other 12 OEMs will call me right after this. But they showed to the audience how easy it was to set up their rooms. And so getting started, if we take out the furry tables and swimming that we just looked at with the MATLAB, um, getting started is actually quite easy, and I think it's going to become easier and easier. The complex part comes in is how do you organize it all and then bring it all together in a structural way that which I think has the least amount of impact on people and being able to continue to work, and then the most impact afterwards. So where do you start with these projects? And I think not per se with how do you start with the customer, but for the partners listening today and watching this today, what kind of offers are you putting into market? Is it more standardized? Is it a lot of custom work still? How do you find the best spot there?
And that's a great segue, Michelle. I'm going to share my screen here just for a minute. And while I do that, if there's questions from the audience today on what are your like deployment challenges, feel free to start popping those in the chat of like what are some of the challenges you run up against with deploying with customers. So let me just share here just for a minute. Let me make sure I get the right one. Let's see. There we go. Make sure we get this. Okay. So this is my first time on this platform. Okay, so we've got it. So I'm not going to go through this entire thing, but that was a great segue, Michelle, into what I wanted to talk about. And sorry, my kids are getting ready to go to school here today, so they're joining the show today.
Mine just came home, so same thing.
So as a customer, right? When I was in those shoes, there were so many different things to coordinate that we created a checklist. And I would highly recommend this for partners, for customers. Every organization is different, and so this will look different. And depending on what you're using for your deployment. So what we did is we just built this checklist.
Would you mind? I'm sorry to interrupt. Would you mind hiding the rail and then enlarging this a little bit, because it might.
Yeah.
I'm on a 49 ultra wide, but it's still quite difficult to read.
49 ultra wide.
Yeah.
Hide the rail.
Double the size of my screen.
Yeah, let me hide the taskbar.
Or just hide the ribbon up top.
Okay. Sorry, you're catching me off guard here.
No, yeah, that's the one. Yep, and then hide it. Yep. It's probably minimal or something like that.
Hide. What's it doing?
Don't worry about it. Just keep going. It's better now.
Okay.
It's better now.
All right. Yeah, we'll make it a little bigger. So having the same sheet of music for a symphony to play off of, even if it's outside a particular responsibility, this is a checklist is meant for everybody inside the organization. Also the integration partner, because even with a global integration partner, the reality is you're working with different teams, different regions, at the end of the day, different project managers. So having just a start to finish of how we're going to do this project helps everybody understand who's working on what the next step is. So I'm just going to kind of use this to create some conversation for today. Just generally, not going to go through the whole thing, but just divided up into prerequisites, staging, and then deployment. And then what you do is identify the task, who's responsible, some notes, and then where to go for reference, right? So on the prerequisite side, depending on the OEM you're working with, in this particular case, I happen to have one OEM up. I'm sure we'll get yelled at about that, but what are some prerequisites? It could be Logi Sync, it could be Crestron XIO, could be Poly Lens, right? Like just have those things ready to go. Access to the Pro Portal may seem rudimentary, but maybe not every admin has access. So let's make sure that people have access to that. And then so that would be like for the organization UC team. And then just kind of setting expectations with your integration partner, right? Like a big one was, benching the units and doing software and OS updates. This can save, on the Windows side, 24 hours or more on site. So waiting waiting to do that. It's gotten better with the pandemic, but during the pandemic, some of these things were sitting on the shelf for 6 months. And so, Windows updates and app updates took a long time. So, set the expectation with your integration partner that you want that done before they come on site, right? Because then we're just sitting around, while we're waiting for updates and firmware to happen. So set expectations, and if you're a partner out there, suggest this to your customers. Make sure that they're not waiting. Their time is valuable. So when be ready to go when it's on site. And then, on the account side, there's a lot of silos in organizations. So, we're not going to have a single global tenant admin who can do everything. So carving up who's doing what, sometimes there's, in my previous case, there was a group who did identity, and there was a group who did endpoint management, and there was a group who did network. And all of those groups have to touch a piece of the configuration for Teams meeting rooms. So giving them, what is their task, and links to go learn about it, right? So like Intune and conditional access policies, they may not know anything about Teams room devices because that's not what they live and breathe every day. So giving them the links to go, read about it and learn about what we're doing, is key. So just carving up, who's doing what in the organization when it comes to the account setup. And sometimes there's, network, firewall, things that need to be addressed. Some organizations use deep packet inspection that needs to be turned off, and things like that. So this is just an example of, something that worked for me. But having something like this, which is outside the technical realm, but more just along the lines of who's doing what and when, can be really helpful. So, and then you've got real estate, maybe we're waiting for new furniture to arrive, certain insurance requirements.
Insurance, yeah.
Yeah, making sure that, isn't it, does the MTR partner or integration partner have the insurance on file? So a lot of this is just sort of project management, which a lot of times we would just offload to whoever is the PM for that particular project. But having all parties kind of involved, I think of project management kind of like cybersecurity. It's everybody's responsibility to make sure the project is a success. So, from the OEM to integration partner to the customer, everybody has a piece in owning the success. So,
I love this, Nate. Yeah, I love this, and it reminds me a lot of the Teams devices deployment playbook that Matt Schlumka created. So I think everyone needs something like this, and if you want to get started with something like this, follow this link. The playbook is right there. You can use it. It gets updated every time it needs to be updated. So save that link. I'll keep it up for a few minutes. I think that list is very important because it's so much. There are so many different elements, right, that come into play, and there is some AV, and there is some IT part that has to happen. And often, what you see when you get to a customer, to your point, Nate, is that you come in and say, "Oh, I need you to create a resource account. Well, I don't have access to creating resource accounts. Okay, we need to figure that part out. Oh, we need proxies. Well, proxies a little bit of a different story with rooms, so you need to do X, Y, and Z. Hey, we have certain rules in place for conditional access and Intune. Okay, great. Okay, let's check first if those are already working with Teams rooms, yes or no. And I think that saves a lot of time in the process. Because would you agree, Nate, that scaling is the most important thing when being successful with landing many customers?
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing to keep in mind is even when you work with a customer, you have to think in terms of it's not just one customer. If it's a large organization, the reality is you have lots of customers, and you have to make sure that every stakeholder in the project, sometimes there's regional differences and differences by country. So I think communication is key, and just having whatever that playbook, is going to look like for your customer well defined. And if you could take something like this and hand it to your customer and say, socialize this internally, I think you're going to win, a lot of gold stars and help the project go smoothly, all the way down to the technician who's installing the hardware, right? Like maybe you have something specific, like you need the power button facing north, so that you can get as specific with that if you really have a good integration partner. So yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, good stuff. I have to jump. I need to jump to another meeting, but I just wanted to fill in a little bit for Michael. I'll leave you to it. Thanks a lot, and thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you soon. Bye.
See you.
See you, Michelle.
So, Nate, is there any common, I guess, say pitfalls or common things that you've seen sort of in deployments and with customers where things don't go right or often overlooked and then bites them back later?
Yeah, good questions. I think in terms of things that are, if you're on a big construction site, you want to avoid things that cause a work stoppage, right? So you have, all these people, geared up and working. And in the meetings room deployment, there's a couple of things that come to mind. So one are the software and firmware updates, right? Hey, Jimmy. So, sitting around waiting for, Windows or Android meeting room devices to update when we have installation crews on site and the customer, ready to go to help configure is a big time suck. So, asking your integration partner to do these things ahead of time is huge, because then when they show up, they're on the supported software firmware. Maybe there's a specific firmware from the OEM that they recommend. That would be number one. The other one is just sort of like site readiness. Sometimes integration partners have to travel to site to do these installs. Not having the network ready or the furniture ready, means like sometimes, flying back and then, a 2-week delay. So two things, updates on your meeting rooms and site readiness. So the partner can own, the updates on those devices. If you have customers, make sure you're doing those updates ahead of time for your customers. It's going to save you a lot of time, your installation teams a lot of time. The customer is going to be happier with the time to deploy. And then on the site readiness side, that's really kind of the customer needs to own that. But, and being willing to say no, we're not ready yet. The site's not ready is a big one too. So site readiness and software updates.
Yeah, I've been doing a room deployment and then arrived to site and then realized they hadn't even finished putting the power in the room or the network. Two pretty core things we'd need. So then that was okay. Bye.
Yeah.
Not much I can do here.
And if we have customers on the call, on the show today, make sure your integration partners know it's okay to pull the plug, to say, hey, we're going to wait to make sure we get this done efficiently and quickly. If there's something not ready, a lot of integration partners will not want to look like they're dropping the ball with, not being ready. But trust me, you're going to save you're going to save the project by saying, you know what, these things aren't quite ready. It's going to be more efficient if we pull back a little bit, wait for the power and the network to be ready, rather than just kind of blindly running ahead and until we run into those things.
Mm. Yeah, and here's Jimmy.
I actually I wasn't planning on coming on. I actually jumped on to see who was here, so I gotta actually go do something. But I was in our StreamYard account and everything else. Martin saw me and put me on.
I thought Michelle dropped out. I thought, it's Jimmy. He's coming in because Michelle.
Oh, he's coming in. All right, Michelle was here too. All right. But good to see you, Nate. Good to see you, Martin.
And you.
I'm gonna drop out. Martin, I'm exhausted. I did too many
things.
Too many presentations this week.
That's cool. Right.
But have a good weekend, guys. And I'm sure we'll catch up soon.
All right. Bye, Jimmy.
Thanks, Jimmy.
And I guess moving on to what you're doing now with phone. I guess what's the most, I guess, or the most popular kind of connectivity method you're seeing? Is it calling plans, direct routing? Is it where are people migrating from, and are they from PBXs or cloud hosted?
So still seeing some good activity in the public sector and education markets. And in a lot of those markets, while most private organizations have, funded, a move to Teams Phone, a lot of public organizations are still on legacy on-premise phone systems. It's taken a while for them to get funding. And in those instances, I'm still seeing a lot of direct routing, primarily due to survivability requirements, right? So needing analog devices to work in the event of an internet outage, even when you have multiple internet circuits and things like that. So so I've only been here a short while, but that's kind of what I'm seeing so far. It'll be interesting to see where things go with the economy and what organizations are doing. We still, if you look at the Forrester kind of UC status of UCAS, they're still expecting a lot of movement in the next few years, doing more with less. So I still expect there's going to be a lot of consolidation and migrations happening.
Yeah, and I think I don't know if it's in the UK, there's a lot of places in education with old kind of analog wiring, and they only needed a very basic phone on the end of a copper cable. In some cases, sort of ATAs, direct routing, sometimes integrating. I had one for a council, and they were integrating into various PBXs with various DEC devices, old school systems, hanging off all these things. They were moving off Link 2010. And Siemens PBX as well. So
wow. So I ran into one called SIP Execs. I'd never even heard of this before, but it's
what's that? Is that PBX?
It legacy on-prem VoIP system. I'd never even heard of it. I had to go look it up. You're still it's kind of crazy that these are within some of the public institutions, but
in a lot of cases, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, and it still works. But now they're so old, and when you can add it into Teams and have it in your daily life seamlessly, it's the time where people have woken up and are doing things about it, and the sheer cost of maintaining those, in some cases, monstrosities of PBXs,
or nobody can find the manual anymore.
Yeah,
that too.
Or the person that kept it alive has moved on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, one last nugget I wanted to leave with the audience on meeting rooms for today that I found to be successful is on the adoption and user training side.
Okay.
One great idea that we found to be successful was, I'll just share my screen because a picture is worth 1,000 words here. Let me get this. There we go. So if your customers, or if you are a customer and you're using custom backgrounds, embedding QR codes in the custom background is a great way. Like how to use a Teams meeting room. This can link directly to the Microsoft, self-guided click through of how to use a Teams meeting room. So we found that to be successful. You can also have, a link to open a ticket for, IT requests. So, if you're building a custom background, this is just an example, your marketing department can help with that. But using QR codes in the custom background is a great way to get rid of those papers on the desk, and kind of cover, making sure everybody can access user guides and request help. So we found that to be really helpful with user adoption.
And is that a template you've made, or can people download that template to build custom backgrounds? Or
well, you can download a Photoshop template right from the Microsoft. If you go, I don't have the link right now, but under the maintenance and operations section, I don't know if you can grab it there.
Yeah.
There is a Photoshop template. And what we found to be successful is working with the corporate marketing team, giving them sort of the guidelines from Microsoft, and putting the corporate background colors and things on it, and just kind of working with them to develop, the background. And then what you end up with is a nice corporate branded meeting room background that meets the Microsoft guidelines and has some of these QR codes built in. So.
Oh, awesome. I'm just having a look for the...
Yeah, let me see if I can grab it. Yep. So if you don't know where that is, we'll go find it for you. I think it's under the XML section.
Yeah, because I think you have to apply that via the Skype settings XML, don't you, at the moment?
Yeah. So it's kind of hidden in the XML section there. Okay. Did you already grabbed it?
No.
Okay. Cool.
If you've got it, we'll share it.
Yeah. So did I just paste it in the comment section here? Sorry.
Yeah, do it. Try it. I'm new to this, but let's have a look.
So there's the link for you.
Got it. It's in the XML. Is it?
Yeah. So if you look towards the bottom of the article that talks about using the XML, it's got instructions on using a custom background and where to go to download that Photoshop template. So
right. So it should be that on screen. Hopefully, I did try and add a comment, but I did that right. But I've added a banner, so it's within the XML config file, is it?
Yeah. The flag to use a custom background is in the XML, but then there's a link there in that article to download the Photoshop template. So what you'll need to do is get that template, work with your marketing or branding department, or if you're a partner and you have those capabilities to build one for your customers, build it in Photoshop, export it as, I think, either a JPEG or a PNG using the resolutions that the article talks about. And then once you've got that JPEG or PNG, you can use the XML to load that and set the flag on the MTR. So a little bit of work, but in the end, going to save a lot of questions and answers, and make sure that the user adoption is really good with your deployment.
And that's Teams Rooms on Windows only currently, is it, to have that custom? Yeah.
It is.
That's cool. Right, I've got a slide about. We can just bring up what's new this month, and we can just have a quick look at that, and then I think we will end it there. Share screen. This is the point where where is the window? There it is. Yeah, so this is what's new for. Well, I guess this is a recap of last month of April. But yeah, a ton of stuff for Teams devices. Software updates for Teams Rooms on Windows. Software updates for Teams Rooms on Android. Software updates for desk phones. There was 2 this month. And then a ton of newly certified devices. I don't know, Nate, if you've seen any of those newly certified devices or been hands-on.
No, I haven't seen any of those yet. Like the Yalink meeting board, I had heard about that one.
Yes, that's a new camera. Let me just skip through these. We'll have a look at. Here's some little nice ones, which I have seen this working. So automatic lowering of raised hands. I don't know if you've seen that, but that's rolling out now. So apparently there'll be no stale hands anymore, or legacy hands. I've never heard of it like that, but okay. Ultrasound howling. I have seen this working where you go into a room and it hears and it automatically puts you on mute.
Yeah, I've seen the hand lowering for sure.
Yeah. Green screen is here as well.
And I think I don't know if I was listening to a podcast or no, it was Tom Abuthnot's podcast on the green screen. It doesn't necessarily have to be a green background. Just FYI, any solid background. So
you can use like your color picker to set certain colors. But I think green still gives you that best.
Mm-hmm.
That's the update for Teams Rooms on Android, Teams Rooms on Windows. So the 4.16.40 update. So that's got the new Teams Rooms user interface that you have to turn on with that Skype settings XML. Android got a few layout switching, chat loading, meet and join latency, volume controls. Yeah, so here's some of the new devices. So the audio code's RXV81. I have seen this around for a while, but I think it's finally got certification now. And the Yealink is the camera. There's a 6x camera that's available, giving pan, tilt, zoom, which I guess, when I looked at the Yealink board, it was quite modular, so I'm guessing you can just drop that new camera in, which looked quite interesting. And Bose have got like an all-in-one, and this is Teams Rooms on Windows as well.
Interesting.
Yeah. So if you on that link, so as well as the Lenovo all-in-one bar for Teams Rooms on Windows, Bose have got one as well. And apparently this is, I think when I read, super high quality you'd expect from Bose, but yeah, they call out some things here. Brings premium audio video to small and huddle spaces, 3 by 3 meters, 10 by 10 feet, 4 beam steering microphones, 4K Ultra HD. So yeah, have a look on their website for that. But I was surprised again at a second all-in-one Teams Rooms on Windows device.
Interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't have expected that.
No.
Yeah.
So that hasn't got the clock like the Lenovo one. That's the only one I know with the clock at the front.
Right, exactly.
D10
it does sort of have that look.
Yeah, D10 have got certification for their D7X 55-inch. QSys. So QSys offer quite a lot of hardware equipment for kind of some bespoke spaces. They have a lot of automation, their own sort of OS and platform. So they have a camera certified now, and then they have this Teams Rooms bundle as well. So I spoke with QSys around. I watched some of their videos as well with their spatial audio solutions. And then kind of some of their kind of automated room solutions as well for like rooms that have to divide in two, and you can go from one system to system. Yeah, they call it high impact spaces, but they got a massive portfolio. So that's good to see that there now.
Yeah, and what I love about that is you can have the same, UI user experience interface, and all of that can disappear behind the background, and to the user it's the same interface they're in with a huddle room, and they don't necessarily have to know about everything that's happening in the background. So
yeah, the Lenovo ThinkVision M60 monitor webcam. So I think this is their Lenovo monitor kind of thing they've got. This must be again another webcam stick on. AVI have got back of room presenters cameras. So there's a lot of peripherals as well being certified. So this one had AI auto tracking, full or half body. Don't know if half is when you're sitting down. I'm guessing so.
Yeah, probably going to see a lot of developments in the multi-camera, multi-stream sort of producer, collecting, multiple camera feeds and using AI. I know a lot of OEMs are working on that.
And then, just the 2 big software updates for Teams desk phones. So whilst you're out there and keeping your phones up to date or deploying them, make sure you're obviously using the most up-to-date software and going through. That is all I've got for this month. Let me stop sharing that. There we go. Right. We are nearly at the top of the hour. I've got to go school. Any plans for the weekend, Nate?
Well, let's see. Yeah, Mother's Day, of course. So if
Mother's Day in the US.
Yeah, Mother's Day here in the US. So
we have
make sure if you're not prepared for Mother's Day, here's your friendly reminder. You got a few hours in the day to get ready for that. So yeah. Sunday, yeah, and then tomorrow I'm actually going to take my son to see Monster Jam, so monster trucks. Yeah, so that'll be a lot. Yeah.
Oh, no. Proper monster trucks.
Proper, yeah.
Wow, proper.
Yeah. We'll have our hearing protection, and it'll be a lot of fun.
Are they jumping over cars and crushing things, or doing everything a monster truck should do?
Yeah, backflips, crushing cars. Yeah, races. Yeah, all of that fun stuff. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, that's ace.
How about you?
Me. We were supposed to be going away on holiday next. Me and my wife going away next week, but I got a message this morning saying they changed the holiday and moved the hotel, and now I need to do some ringing. We found out this morning. And I now need to find out what's going on next week. We were going on Sunday, but I don't know what's going on. So I need to go and jump on that. But yeah, so the kids are staying with Nana, and hopefully have a few days away.
Good for you.
Yeah, that'll be good. But yeah, if not, I'm not sure what I'm doing. I hadn't planned on doing anything else, but that's about it. But anyway, awesome to have you on the show. Thank you for everything you're doing in the community as well. I know did you speak at Commsview Next this year?
No, not this year. Given I'm somewhat new to Teams Phone, didn't, kind of was just listening and participating. So
is phone what you're primarily focusing on now then?
Yeah, exactly. So I am thinking about doing a video here coming up for Empowering Cloud on Teams walkie-talkie. I haven't seen a whole lot of information on that, and I'm not sure how much in demand it is, but just sort of working through, how to set it up, use cases, and things like that. So I may be reaching out to some of my Microsoft contacts to help collaborate on that, and put it out there, and that way it's there for the community. So
yeah, awesome. That sounds good. Well, thanks so much, Nate. Have a great weekend and a great time at Monster Jam.
Yeah, we will.
That sounds fun. I'll have to come and check that out. Awesome.
Well, good luck getting your plans covered. It's always good to have a good Nana. We've got one too. So yeah, good luck with that.
Awesome. And maybe we'll have Michael back next time. I'm not sure. All right. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great weekend.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.